Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, where we tell the rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the settling of the American Wild West. Each Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be sharing a historical legend and a living legend. Someone from history and someone living that Western lifestyle today, keeping it alive for the future generation. We hope you'll join us on Thursday. If not, we'll see you on the trail. Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity. And before we get started today, I just want to say how excited I am about having our new children's book. And as you can see here, we've got some Buffalo Soldiers, and that's what we're going to be talking about today because it's Texas Buffalo Soldier Month. That's here in Texas in July. The legislature has declared July Texas Buffalo Soldier Month because we have a special program here called Texas Buffalo Soldiers with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Division of the state. And so I really am very excited today to be talking to my friend Luis Padilla. Luis is the program manager for the Texas Buffalo Soldier program for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Division. So welcome to the show, Luis.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Happy Texas Buffalo Soldier Month, and today, happy National Buffalo Soldier Day.
All right, great. Yeah, so that's why we're excited to have you, Luis, on here in July because, like you say, in the past on some of our shows, we've talked about some of the historical Buffalo Soldiers. We've talked about Henry Flipper. We've talked about Isaiah Mays, Benjamin Brown. I think we've even Emmanuel Stance. We've mentioned a little bit, but tell us, Luis, how you got involved with this program and what the program's all about for people that don't know.
Well, let's see. How long do we have? Because this can go on.
Oh, I know it. Isn't it the truth?
No, I've been a part of the program for 16 years now. Ironically, my 16 years came about in July as we celebrate all this historic Buffalo Soldier timing. So it just seems like it was kind of meant to be. I was given the opportunity by my former boss and mentor, Ken Pollard, after just doing a bunch of odd jobs, quickly determining that laying tile really wasn't for me. And I thought I was applying for an office job in the AC. Right. But I ultimately got the job with the Buffalo Soldiers program way back in 2006.
Doesn't time fly? I mean, it just seems like that was yesterday. I mean, it's just crazy.
It does. All these grays remind me that I've been here for some time now. But yeah, I got my start back in 2006. I think I finally got my uniform and learned our history right around the end of 2007 into 2008, and was primarily tasked by Ken Pollard to take our existing programs and kind of transition them into the future and for the next generation of youth coming up, making them more tactile and kinetic learning styles. So it's been a journey, it's been an adventure, and it's just been a ton of fun.
Always an adventure, always fun. Yeah, and part of it, the electronic too. Technology was changing too, wasn't it? And I hate to say it, but Ken, I guess I met probably our Texas or Dallas Buffalo Soldiers, Rosalietta Reed, Wendell Prince, Sam Allen, our guys. We've had Sam on the show before talking about the North Texas Buffalo Soldiers and his brother Paul. And then I obviously met Ken and developed a really nice relationship between Texas Parks and Wildlife and Cowboys of Color. And so y'all were always great to come out and set up the camps and show people that history because for us, the rodeo was we wanted to have exciting sporting events. We wanted to have the best cowboys, but we also wanted to tell that cultural history because so many people don't know. And I'm sure that you find that as you go out and talk to people, they go, why do I not know this? Do you hear that?
Yeah, definitely do. And I can truly resonate with those people because before my time here in the program, I actually did not know that there were Black men who served in the Army who wore the blue uniform. Right. Again, I was 26, 27 years old, and I saw Ken come into the office one June or July drenched in sweat, wearing a wool uniform. So of course I asked him, "What are you doing? It's
What are you
extremely
doing?
hot outside to be wearing a wool jacket." And he replied, I did a Buffalo Soldier program. So, my next reply was, "What is a Buffalo Soldier?"
What's that? What's
Um,
that?
yeah, and that was kind of funny because he hired me. I'm working for this program. I've done a large inventory project for the program already. And instead of just telling me what a Buffalo Soldier was, Ken takes a book called Buffalo Soldier and throws it at me. And immediately I'm just kind of blown away at that point. Like, wow, I actually graduated not too long ago and never heard of this.
Never heard any of this
Um,
history. Yeah.
yeah, so Ken really sparked an interest in me. He sparked the match, and it just kind of grew from there. I was
Grew from
extremely
there.
intrigued, and I love to actually teach others about it because it's a not so common part of history that we hear about.
Right, right, exactly. Well, and I think, and we're gonna show a little short video here, but obviously that's it. I mean, Ken helped start the program. I guess he worked with the park department over in San Angelo in the Big Bend country, but he was talking to somebody about it, and they said, "Well, why don't you present that?" And I guess he did, and they said, "Wow, this is great. This is something we could do at the park." So we're going to show you a little clip here, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about the program, what's going on right now, and then we may have another little clip, and then we'll talk about the future of the program if that works for you.
Yeah, definitely. Enjoy.
All right, yeah. So those of you watching and listening, all right. So All right. So isn't that great? So that's the thing, and that's what this show is all about too. And I know for you, Luis, it's telling those stories that haven't been told, those rarely and untold stories, so that kids and other people can make that connection to their heritage. So tell us a little bit for our listeners and people watching. What's the program doing right now? You working in the parks and the schools? What all's going on? I know COVID's probably put you behind the eight ball a little bit, but share a little bit more with our listeners now so they know what's going on actually.
So we're doing a lot. COVID actually did not slow us down too much.
Okay.
Ironically, I felt that COVID actually helped our program out.
Right.
Not saying that COVID was a good thing. We lost many people due to it. But as a program, we were able to take a step even further into the future and take a step further with our reach by truly embracing a lot of the technology and virtual platforms to increase the reach of our message, make an impact
Right.
in lives, and most importantly, have a sense of representation. That's one of the
Right.
main purposes of the program. When we go out in person and do public programming, we're there for a lot of representation, just like y'all might have seen in that video. This is something that was largely not talked about. We didn't see ourselves in those books. Ken
Right.
himself found out about this history late. So it was truly important to have that piece of representation out there to show that you can do this too. You can take pride in yourself and everything that you do, and to take advantage of all opportunities. And again, with COVID not being a good thing, we took the opportunity to expand our reach even more and preserve this cultural history and this important piece of history.
Right. And by doing, y'all did virtual programming as well, and classes and workshops, things like that.
Yeah, we did. We utilized Facebook and did a bunch of Facebook live streaming. We developed a program called Buffalo Soldier University that we had a ton of fun with, where we took segments of the history and broke it down into 25 to 40-minute sessions.
Uh huh.
And we would
Fabulous.
do this at least once to twice a week for about a month long period, and then end that semester of Buffalo Soldier University with a final exam, if you will, or a
Right.
pop trivia quiz
Uh huh.
over what we covered using the online platform Kahoot that people could play with us. So it was really fun. And we reached people not only in Texas, we reached them all across the United
Yeah.
States.
Right.
I mean, I can't even remember how many states we reached. But the true shining light to our reach and showing what we were capable of were the participants we had who tuned in from Australia and the UK and New
Right.
Zealand. And that
Internationally.
kind of blew my mind that they
Right.
were intrigued in this part of Texas history also and would follow us through the whole course and semester.
Right, right. Yeah, and it is astonishing how people all over the world love this history. They love Western history. They want to know about the American Wild West. They want to know about cowboys and Indians and Buffalo Soldiers, and it really is a fascinating history for people all over the world. So, and and we found the same thing. We found the same thing at the rodeo. I think the first documentary even did for the rodeo. It was some guys from the UK and Ireland. They came over and because they wanted to film because one of them, the guy from the UK from England, was actually black, but he was told he had to be an Indian because there weren't black cowboys when he was a kid growing up watching Western movies, and Western TV shows like Roy Rogers and Rawhide and all of that stuff and Bonanza and stuff. And so, then he heard about black cowboys. He said, I got to come film that, take photos. And, one of our very first documentaries was something these guys did, internationally. So it is a wonderful legacy. And where can somebody still sign up for the university? Is that something y'all doing every kind of on a semester type basis or quarterly basis or something? Or is that
Yeah, so we haven't run a semester since February. I think we did a Black History Month edition for
right?
February.
Right.
And we haven't run one since then. We're at the point now where we've run through a lot of content, and of course there's still more content that we can do, but
Right.
instead of pumping out new content right now, we want to go back and take what we've already filmed through the live streams, but do it more in a professional setting, like actually
Uh-huh.
script it out to where it's a little bit higher quality,
Right, right,
and then make the final exam into an online downloadable PDF form so that people can actually take this as a resource whenever they want now. And we can
right,
then distribute it out to the schools and rec centers and things of that nature,
right.
so that if we're not actively filming at the time,
Uh-huh.
it's a resource that's going to live on forever.
Right, that people can come back to for sure,
Yeah,
for
definitely.
sure. Okay, great.
But you can visit our Facebook right now and go through the
Right.
video archive and rewatch all of the episodes because we saved them all to our Facebook account.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the only thing you cannot do at this point is take the final exam because we've
Right.
locked them out of Kahoot.
Right.
Until again, we're able to go in and make like some hard copy editions of them.
Right. Okay. So it's facebook.com / is it Texas Buffalo Soldiers, or what do you have the
It's
URL or
it,
look at
yeah, it's facebook.com / Buffalo Soldiers Program
okay, Buffalo
dash
Soldiers
Texas
program.
Parks and Wildlife.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
you got to make sure you put the dash Texas Parks and Wildlife because there's quite a few Buffalo Soldier organization and pages out there.
Right. So is it -TWPD, or is it actually spelt out? Texas
All
Parks,
spelled out.
all spelled
Texas
out.
Parks and Wildlife.
Okay, great. Because we'll put that in the show notes. We'll put that in the description because basically this is we're live streaming now, of course, but this gets pulled down as a podcast. So occasionally that's why I'm asking it out loud. Facebook.com, like you say, / Buffalo Soldier Program - Texas Parks and Wildlife spelled out. So we'll put that in the show notes, and so people will be able to, if they come back later on and watch the recording, they'll be able to check that out as well. So, well, kind of what's the kind of the next step? Are you going to continue on here, or is the program still going on at the parks? I'm assuming, or you get requests all the time from schools and organizations, and I'm sure you're like us. You get all your requests for Black History Month, and we tell people all the time we do Black History 356 days a year. We
Exactly. Black History is all year long. We'll celebrate it in February, but it needs to be
right,
celebrated year round.
right, for sure. So we get those requests, and we say, we can come in April, we can come in September. I mean, we're not just limited to coming and talking in February. But yeah, so how many programs do you have now kind of around the state? Because y'all support other programs around the state in different communities, don't you? Or you have Buffalo Soldier, I guess what they're
Yeah,
called is like our North
definitely.
Texas.
There are groups all over the United States. There's a ton of groups here in the Texas area. There's the Buffalo Soldier Association. There's the North Texas Buffalo Soldiers, the Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers in San Antonio, and then of course the Buffalo Soldier National Museum in Houston, who we partner with a lot.
A lot. Uh-huh.
So yeah, there's tons of organizations here, and we're kind of like the state umbrella organization. So we work with, train, and just support a lot of these support each other, I should say,
Right, each other.
in our joint efforts. And our program alone will typically average 70 to 80 programs a year, and that's with a
Right.
staff of 2 or 2.5, I
Right. I
should
mean,
say.
it's just astonishing how many people, and y'all reaching hundreds of thousands of kids and adults, I'm sure,
Yeah, and
through
we'll go
those.
from state parks, historic sites, schools, grade levels, kinder through college.
Uh-huh.
We'll do rec centers and community events. I mean, basically, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
We take the request in. We typically ask 6 months to a year out in advance for the request, and it's still not promising that I'm going to be able to confirm with you for that specific date,
Right.
just because of the amount of stuff we're having to juggle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one
For
piece of
sure.
exciting news is
Uh-huh.
Texas State Parks is getting ready to celebrate our centennial, 100 years of
Oh,
Texas State Parks.
right. Yeah.
So I encourage everybody to follow your show, follow our Facebook, follow our Instagram, follow our webpage, because we have some really exciting stuff coming up to celebrate 100 years of
The
state
100
parks.
years of state parks. Yeah, and for sure at the website, if you go to the Texas Parks and Wildlife website, you can search there and find the Buffalo Soldier program, but they have all kinds of wonderful wildlife programs and hunting and fishing. I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, luckily the thing about Texas is we still have a lot of our forts, or at least pieces. We have of our forts. And so
Yep.
I know that was a part of it too. We talked a lot on this program about, people coming into Galveston Island and then traveling west after the Civil War. And that the reason they could travel west because of these forts and these Buffalo Soldiers that were protecting settlers. And as you mentioned in the program, video we're going to watch in just a second about the telegraphs and, all the different programs like that. We may be short on time, so we may just have to tag that video at the end of this because I'd rather talk to you in person. And then
Let's
because they can go to the video and watch on the Facebook page, or they can go watch the other videos. But you have a lot of volunteers, don't you? If somebody wants to volunteer and participate, they can do that. How does that work?
Yes, we have a lot of volunteers. No, we don't have a lot of volunteers.
We don't have enough volunteers.
Yeah, we're in a transitional stage where just like Ken when he extended the opportunity to me, I feel like I'm almost in a spot where it's my turn to start looking to extend that opportunity to someone else. Right. But it all starts with volunteering. Many of our volunteers are still around. Some of them have left this place. So the more we can get people involved, the longer we can preserve this history and the larger impact we can make. So we are, of course, always looking for volunteers, whatever your skill set is, whatever your background is. Don't let the fact that this is a history program scare you, because again, I did not have a background in history. I was taught the history, and I'm confident that myself or my staff can teach you the history. And we will take genuinely what you're interested in and form a program around that.
Right, and help you do that for sure. So that's great. So it doesn't matter, obviously, I guess you got to be probably 18 or over. I know that you've had some college kids work with you, and
I've had some young kids work with me too. Some kids that I have.
Okay.
Yeah, some kids that I had attached to like my football programs, or kids that I've recognized in a program multiple times. We've established relationships with their parents, because if they're under 18, we're going to want them to have their parents involved as well. But we have several young kids involved in the program, and there's some exciting things coming up with them too. I have three young men that actually filmed a video about Sergeant Stance that we released during Black History Month, and that's found on our YouTube page. So, if you're young, just get your parents involved. You want to come hang out with us, we're really cool, I promise you. But if you're 18 and over, bring yourself out. Let's have fun. Whether your thing is photography, tech, cooking, fishing, hunting, whatever it is, I promise you, we have a program either for you, or we will develop a program for your skill set.
Right. There's something for you to do. There's always something for you to do. So it's great. And like you say, you're outdoors, you're meeting people. I mean, I can tell you, the relationships that I met and had, like you say, 20, 30 years ago. I mean, we still have those relationships today. It's 30 years later,
look at our relationship. Like, it's hard to track me down. I understand 16, that.
But 16 years. I know. I'm like, God, it can't be. Luis can't. The first time you can't be that old. I mean, I'm that old, but you can't be that old, because I remember you were a young guy. You were a youngin'.
Yeah,
you were youngin' when you came into the program.
I'm well seasoned, 2 back surgeries in, but still kicking. I don't like Ken and the rest of the guys say, I'm still kicking. I'm not kicking high, but I'm still kicking.
I'm still kicking. Well, that's it. And and sadly, like you say, we've lost a few of our older guys, and we lose people every year because we've got a lot of people that have been in this program for a lot of years, and that's it. And they keep doing it because it's so fun, and you meet so many people, and when you see the looks on people's faces when they get it, when they make the connection, they go, wow, you mean my ancestors had a part in establishing this town or this road or this fort or this whatever it was. And like you say, I think you mentioned in one of the videos, it was the precursor to the internet, was the telegraph system. And that was it. That's how people got information and communication. You had to go by horseback or wagon or mule or whatever. And, and communication was a written letter. And then when the telegraph system came through, it was the dot, 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 dash, 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 it was the little, machine that printed out the letters, from one place to another. So,
now it's tap, 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 and we're actually sending messages.
Right. And that's the exciting thing too. Like you say, that we can create these programs, we can create these live streams or podcasts and talk to people. And then, like you say, be in touch with people, engage with people all over the world. It's a fascinating study. It's a fascinating history. And so y'all be sure that you go check that out. You go to Buffalo Soldier Program - Texas Parks and Wildlife. Right?
There you go.
All right. So check that out. I'm sure if you just search Texas Buffalo Soldier too in Google, you're going to get all kinds of things. But look for that TPWD, Texas Parks and Wildlife. Then you'll have our official program here for the state of Texas. And, and it's a great program that's been going on. And so we appreciate that the 100-year celebration's coming up. That's going to be really exciting. So I will be checking on that myself personally, and maybe we can have somebody come, talk about that from the parks. And once y'all get a few more days down the road, maybe you can come back and talk to us about some of these plans that y'all have when you get into that 100-year celebration. Is it going to be next year, the 23rd, 2023?
I think it's going to kick off. It's going to kick off March 2023, I believe.
Okay, I was going to say. Okay, great. Yeah, so we'll be looking forward to that. I certainly appreciate, Luis, if you had anything that you'd want to say to somebody about the Buffalo Soldiers or joining the program or just learning the history. What would that be?
Let me leave you with two things if I can. The first one, to answer your question, would be. If I could leave anything with somebody, I would say offer and take as many opportunities as you can. And once you take those opportunities, fully commit to it. The second thing I will leave you with is feel free to reach out to me anytime, you, Liz, or anybody watching. Let's make these connections together. And Liz, really call me because we may possibly have a trail ride coming up pretty soon. So
okay, yeah, that'll be great. So if people get in touch with you, is there an email? Is that the best way to get in touch, or is it just go to the Facebook page and comment? Or
either way, the emails are going to come straight to my phone because I'm in and out of the office so much.
All the time.
Yeah. Email address is louis.padilla at tpwd.texas, all spelled out, .gov. It's a very, very long one.
Yeah, it's a long thing. So we'll put that in the show notes as well. Louis Padilla, LuisPadilla. So, but we'll put that in the notes for those of you that are listening on the podcast. We appreciate you, Louis. We appreciate you so much. All these years dedicated to the program and bringing this next generation along and reaching these kids, especially. We want the adults to know about this history, but it's really important for kids in the city who never got a chance to. Maybe they don't know.
Yeah, it's for everybody. Again, it's representation. It's a great example of opportunity, self-pride, and integrity. So everybody should know about this history, and we should all work together to preserve this history and just build off of it.
Right. I appreciate that so much. I think so too. Well, Louis, I thank you so much for being here with us. I wish, like you say, we could talk for hours and hours, but we're at our 30 minutes. And so I will have you come back and tell us, maybe like you say, in March, we'll come back and we'll talk about that 100-year anniversary. But I appreciate you. This has been Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity. And we're here every Thursday at 5 p.m. And if you missed the live, you can always go back to our YouTube channel and search that Wild West Diversity. And this is episode 23. So we're very excited that we've had these 23 episodes and these great interviews with people like Louis. So have a great day. And if we don't see you here, we'll see you on the trail. Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, where we tell the rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the settling of the American Wild West. Each Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be sharing a historical legend and a living legend. Someone from history and someone living that Western lifestyle today, keeping it alive for the future generation. We hope you'll join us on Thursday. If not, we'll see you on the trail.